Hi everyone, I thought I would do a very informal video on some of the books that I enjoy looking at, specifically my design books. A lot of you have been asking me, what are your favorite home decor and design books? And I thought the easiest way to answer that would be to actually just do a little video. And also, I wanted to give you a tour of my new library, sewing, knitting, film editing, video editing, making space. Virginia Woolf, in her book, Room of Her Own, talks about the fact that it's inspiring to have your own space and have your own room. Now, my whole house is my own because I am single and I have my house to myself, but I wanted a room where I could kind of cocoon away during the winter specifically and look at books and edit my videos on a proper desk instead of just sitting in the living room and having the computer on my lap, and just have a room that I can feel super creative in. And that is hopefully what I have been able to do here. So I'd love to give you a little tour. But if you're new here, my name is Raina and this is Small Retired Life. On my channel, we just talk about all things retirement and living your life in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. If you're new, welcome here. All right, let's get started with the books. As much as possible, I am going to list the books in my Amazon links below. Now, I am an Amazon affiliate person, but I really just have the links so that you know what I'm talking about. These are the Canadian links. I'm sorry, that is all I can actually put on there because I don't want to deal with tax issues for US type stuff. So at least you'll be able to click on the link and see the book that I'm talking about. So the first book I'm going to start with is an oldie, and it is by a graphic designer, David Carson. I don't know if this book is still in print. I've had this book for a long time, and even when I purchased it secondhand, and I was pretty lucky to find it. This is not a home decor book. This book is more about, just to give you an idea, it consists of a lot of different images and colors and layouts and collages. I love this book for how it inspires me to be creative. Sometimes what I'll do is I will open it to a page, just any page, like whatever, just open it to a page, and I will put that down and then take a look at it every now and then throughout the day to get some kind of an inspiration. This is probably, I would say, one of my top 5 favorite books that I own. I will never give this book up, and I look at it like every week. Every week I open it somewhere to a page and just have it around for inspiration. So that's book number 1. Book number 2. Okay, you all know I love Christmas, and I love especially a Scandinavian Christmas. And I found this book a few years ago. It's called The Christmas Season, and it features different Scandinavian artists and designers and their interiors at Christmas time. I absolutely love this book. It sits on my coffee table during Christmas, and it just has such a Scandinavian Christmas minimal kind of vibe. Not that all the interiors are minimal, but it just has that Scandi feel to it that I absolutely love. And I love having a book that I can take out at Christmas time and put it on my table and then browse through it. And when I say Christmas time, I actually take this out and put it downstairs in the living room like early November and then keep it through till like January, because I love looking at it. And what I love the most is that because it kind of comes out that time of the year, I mean, it sits in my bookcase, but it comes out for serious browsing during the Christmas season. And I love this book, highly recommend. The next book is by Jane Cumberbatch. Now, she's had design books for a long time now, and this is, I think, printed in the early 2000s, I want to say. I think I got it around 2005, and I purchased it secondhand. So I'm not quite sure if this book is in print still, but I'll take a look when I'm putting the links at the bottom of the video. I love her aesthetic. It's very minimal. And what I love is she's all about very simple, useful and practical interiors. She also has a section in this book in the back where she goes through various classic furniture and colors and paints and all kinds of things like that. And she also has a garden section in this book, which is awesome. And of course, she also has a Christmas section. So this book has a little bit of everything. And again, beautiful book, beautiful photography. Because it was made in the early 2000s, there was a certain aesthetic in photography during that time period. And I really enjoy the photographs. So this is another highly recommend and one of my favorites. Now, I tend to like very neutral interiors. I have a lot of white furniture, a lot of neutral furniture, but after a while that gets a little bit boring. And I love art, I love books, I love plants. So I need help in putting some of these more colorful things together, or when a space needs to be a little more maximalist. Like my library is probably my most maximalist room because it contains the things that I need to work. And so it has artwork and it has little tchotchkes that are behind me in the bookshelf. It has all my books and it has a lot of plants. And to help me with that type of thing, I have this book called Bohemian Residence. I don't think it has a specific author. It's kind of more of a coffee table book. But what I love about this book is that it has rooms that are a little bit more maximalist. They use color and they truly are very eclectic. So that name Bohemian suits some of the interiors that are in this book. What I like about this book is it encourages me to use the things I already have around the house and not buy new things. Because the interiors in this book are so eclectic, I find that it gives me ideas, and I kind of shop my house and rearrange things that I feel comfortable in rearranging. So highly recommend this book. It's got some really fun and very different interiors. As I was saying, I love anything Scandinavian, and a big inspo book for me is this one called The Scandinavian Home. Love this book. It has some really beautiful Scandinavian designed rooms. And I get a lot of inspiration on what to do with my own interiors, because a lot of my furniture is actually from Denmark and other Scandinavian countries. So this book is fun because sometimes I see furniture in this book that I actually have. So this is another highly recommend. The interiors in this book are a little bit more muted, but they do have color. The colors are just a little bit more muted. And again, beautiful photographs. Now, I love plants. Do you all remember 2021 when we were all not leaving our homes, or 2020, like in that time frame, and everybody was into plants and people had like hundreds and hundreds of plants? I was one of those people. Well, I have since downsized my plants. I probably have around 25 plants in my home, but I love them and I take care of them. And when you see my room tour for the space in here, you will see that plants are a big feature of my room. And I get inspiration on how to decorate with my plants from this book called The New Leaf, or A New Leaf. And this book is great because what it does is it shows you how you can use plants in your interiors in an aesthetic way. And I love the concept of having plants in the home because they oxygenate your space. They add a little bit of green, especially when you're from a cold country like Canada. I mean, nothing much grows here except like evergreens and that type of thing in the winter. So I really enjoy getting inspiration from books like these that show me how I can use plants to spruce up my home and make it feel more like a little bit of a jungle. All right, the next series of books are really illustrating my love for water. I love being near water. I live right by the river. I may be 1 block away from the river. And I love being in Melbourne where I'm by the ocean, and I like to find Airbnbs that are close to the beach. So I love looking at books that are inspiration for homes that are near the sea or near the ocean. So Natalie Walton is an Australian author, designer, and this book, Home by the Sea, is beautiful. It has gorgeous photographs of various homes that are near the ocean. These are predominantly in Australia, but she has these beautiful kind of earthy photographs of interiors, and she also features like the exteriors of some of these homes, which kind of have that weathered by the water kind of look. So this book is beautiful. I tend to browse through it a little bit more in the warmer months for some reason, probably because I think of, being by the water as a summer beach thing. So that one's a good one. Another kind of beach themed book that I love is by Lauren Lease, and it's called Beach Life. Lauren Lease is from America. She's an American designer, and I love the photos in this book that show the beach and beach life. She has actually a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is great because it shows a lot of the interiors that she's working on. She's a really cool girl. Honestly, I have like 2 girl crushes, and she is one of them. I mean, she's very cool. I love her design aesthetic. I have some of her other books that are more decorating type books, but this one I love the most because it shows being by the water and interiors by the water. The next book I love is by Trisha Foley. I don't know where the cover went. It's called A Summer Place. And a lot of her homes are around the Long Island area. And again, it has that kind of summer beach house, summer place type of vibe. And I love, like, a lot of her decorating is kind of that. When you think of the coastal grandma look, it's kind of a big thing. Like, think of Nancy Meyers, but in a very understated way. This is what her interiors are like. And she features, you know, a lot of kind of a coastal vibe. So I love this book. Again, kind of more of a summer read for me. My final book is kind of a weird one because it is by Rachel Ashwell, and I am not a shabby chic girl at all, but this book she wrote when she had purchased a home in Malibu and she was decorating it. And I loved her aesthetic of decorating with old things and kind of using what she had. And this book is so old and I've loved it so much. It's absolutely broken apart because I have looked at this book over and over again. I am not necessarily a huge fan of her other books, but this one, for some reason, I really enjoyed, and I even enjoyed like reading it. It's, I don't know. I think I had it when she first published it, and I want to say, let me just take a look here. If I, oh, see what I mean? Like it's completely coming apart. I just wanted to see if I can figure out when it was published. And for some reason, it doesn't seem to have, usually books have that information at the front, but I'm not seeing it. So, oh, 2000, it was published in 2000. So that's how long I've had this book. So 25 years, like, holy cow. It's quite something. So she is my second girl crush. I just love her aesthetic, her personal kind of vibe. She tends to dress like a little bit soft cowgirl, and I really like that. So those are my favorite books, and as I said, I am going to list them in the description as much as I can. If some of these books are out of print, I will point towards maybe a secondhand vendor, but we'll see what we can come up with. So give some of those a try to look at. I'm sure that a lot of those books are available at the library. Now, I've looked in our local library because I was at the library the other day and I actually couldn't find any of the books. So that was kind of weird and very disappointing. But I think maybe I was at a smaller library, so maybe some of the bigger libraries will have some of these books. Also, stay tuned for the tour of my office. So I thought I would give you a little tour of my new office, library, sewing, editing room. This room used to never get used. I housed my books in here and I had a chair in here and some plants, and that was about it. But I needed a space that I could use for my editing. I didn't have a desk and I really badly needed that because I was editing with my laptop on my lap in a chair and that wasn't cutting it. So I kind of reworked this room a little bit and I thought I would give you a little bit more of an in-depth tour. So let's start with what is on this wall. First, we will come across my little cartel gnome. And I know you've probably seen him in some of my other videos. He has been with me for many years. He holds my books and in a pinch he can be used to sit on. I know some people think he's kind of ugly, but I really enjoy him and he makes me happy and makes me laugh. So he is definitely staying. Then I have this bookshelf unit which I had designed, and then I had California Closet make it for me, and it houses all of my books and all of my paperwork and every single thing that you would normally find in an office. By having this storage unit, it really disciplines me not to exceed the boundaries of it so that I'm not collecting a bunch of stuff in my house. I have my bird here. He's a mid-century modern design and I absolutely love him. I've had him for many years. I'm not a big tchotchke person, but the things I have I really love and I've had for a long time. I have this planter here. It's funny, I found that at a garage sale a long time ago and it was super cheap, but I really like it, and every now and then I put a plant in it. And then I have this little guy here. He was given to me by an old boyfriend and I forget where he bought him. I think he got him from the Czech Republic, and I really love it because it's very whimsical. All of my books, every single book I own pretty much is in this bookshelf. I have a few in the bedroom, but predominantly all of the books are here. This cupboard houses all of my yarn and fabric stash. Now, I'm not really a stasher. This is what I allow myself to have. There's yarn here on a project I'm currently working on, and then there's yarn for 2 other projects. And then I have this tiny little bit of fabric stash and my iron. On the bottom, I have my bank that is a pig. I've had him for many years as well, and I really enjoy having him in my office. And then down here, I have this vase. I think it's from like the 50s and the 60s, and it's some kind of a British ceramic studio place that did this type of design. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I've had it for a long time and I really like it. Down here I have some cupboards that have doors on them, and those house all of my paperwork, office supplies. There's some sewing supplies. Pretty much I restrict myself to those 2 cupboards for that type of thing. Then up here I have my plant that has absolutely gone crazy. Hiding on the top shelf is this little brass armadillo. He's also from, I think, like the 60s or the 70s. And then I have a water container here that I usually end up using as a vase. Hiding again behind this plant is this little white Buddha, and there's a bit of a story to him. He's nothing special in the sense that I got him from some tchotchke store back in 1993 when I first moved back to Calgary after my divorce. He's got a bit of a crack in him somewhere, I can't remember where, but I keep him because, I don't know, just sentimental value, and I happen to kind of like him hiding behind the plant there. Then the other piece of tchotchke I have is this blue jug. It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to try and move the plant here. It is one of the few things that I kept from my mom. It's from the 70s and it reminds me of my mom. I have some vintage Kaiser ceramic vases down here that are from a vintage shop. And then I have this vase down here, this pink one. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. It's the only thing I have left from the Czech Republic. This is something my parents had in their home, and after they escaped from the Czech Republic, the home got taken over by government soldiers, and they trashed everything and took all of their things. And for some reason, this vase survived, and my grandma must have saved it or something, and it's now in my home, and it is very precious to me. I have my plants in the corner, and then I have my chair that I had in my bedroom. I put it back in here, and it has my Afghan that I crocheted. I get a lot of questions about this Afghan. I crocheted it 20 some years ago. It took me well over a year to make it and piece it together, probably closer to 2 years. And it's made out of a beautiful yarn. It's cotton, and it is by, I think, Rowan, if I'm not mistaken. Then I have a storage unit there. I have an old vintage ottoman from the 70s, which is not the greatest. It's got some knitting on here right now. I'm knitting a sweater, and I just cover it up with a sheepskin. It's not very good, but it's all right. Now this is the new part over here. I again designed this desk. I'll give you a little span of it. I designed it and had California Closet build it for me. It's made out of the exact same material as my bookshelf, and it is so long. I can actually put 2 chairs here if I want to. I need to get an office chair, but it houses my serger and my sewing machine, which I haven't broken out yet. It has my laptop so I can edit here. I had them put in 3 of these holes where I can push some plug-in things and so on. And I get asked about this mirror all the time with the bunnies on it. And I got that. I don't even remember where I got that. But I really like it. It's very whimsical. And then I have this beautiful painting. It represents the poem by Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. And it was painted by a local artist. Her name is Sherry Hunter. And then over here, I have this little old flower arrangement container of this little Asian flute player. I think I got that at some garage sale as well. And also, in case people want to know, my rug, honestly, this is, I needed a rug for in here because when I'm filming without it having had a rug, it was very echoey, and I needed something to buffer the sound. And so I went to HomeSense the other day because I kind of remembered that they carried rugs, and this is a wool rug. It's really cute. It adds some color into an all-white office, and it's hand knotted, and I think it was like under $200, which is amazing to me. It's from HomeSense. So this is my new little abode where I can create and I can edit videos and do all of the things that I love to do. All right, so this is it for this weekend. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see everyone at my regular time next week. Bye.